Hi, welcome back to the Performance Podcast. This is Keerthana Swaminathan, and we have with us Mr. Vishnu Prasanna, a very interesting guest. He's a chess player and a chess coach, also a Grandmaster. It's going to be a very interesting perspective today because we hear from a player and a coach perspective. Hi, Mr. Vishnu.
Hello, Keerthana. Thank you for inviting me here. Thanks.
Can you just walk us through your journey from being a chess player to a chess coach? How has it been?
So, I started chess probably around the year 2002 when Vichy had won the World Cup in 2000, and there was a lot of celebration and news. And I thought, that's how I entered the game. I was not particularly keen on playing a board game or playing indoors at the time, but the game I kind of held on to it in a month or so after I started it. And, things were a lot unorganized back then, and taking sport as a career, especially chess, was not so clear. And I kind of wanted to pursue it quite seriously from very early on.
Yeah.
And probably for almost 10 years, I was about 5 to 6 years I was playing at state level and so on, and then went up to nationals. I played under 17, and probably my first good breakthrough came in 2007 and 2008 actually, where I finished second in the juniors nationals. So kind of God gave me some hope to continue it more seriously. And through these moments there were some moments of stagnation and some of success. And in 2011 I kind of achieved the international master title, which is kind of very important to establish yourself. And 2013 I became a grandmaster.
Lovely.
Looking back, it was much more unorganized than it is now, and it was not clear how to go forward or how to pursue professionally, or what is training like, right? So everything was very unorganized. And I first got into training around 2015-16, and started training serious professionals around 2017.
Right. So it must have been a very different mindset to be a player and then a coach, right? How different was it?
Well, definitely very different.
Yeah.
One of the things I noticed as a player is you don't have time to think about a lot of things.
Yeah.
You're going from event to event, and even if some things are obvious, you need another person to point it out to you.
Perspectives, right?
To point it out to you.
Yeah.
I was always a big analyst of the game, even when I was playing.
Yes.
So that kind of helped me with my coaching, like breaking down things to a small level to explain and stuff like that. So that was my biggest advantage as a coach, I would say.
Got it.
And you're thinking a lot about other people, and I think it's a completely two different worlds.
Ball games. Yeah, absolutely. You were talking about your journey towards becoming an IM and then a GM, right? I just very curious. I wanted to know, how old were you back then?
I was 21 when around 20 when I became an IM.
Okay.
And I was almost 23 when I became a GM.
The reason I asked you that was because a lot of parents, especially in chess, right, what I observe is that they want at 10 years of age, they want their children to become very specialized in terms of chess. Do you think that's the right approach that young? I mean, of course, there are 1-2 people in the world, let's say 10 people in the world who can do that, but not everyone, right? So how does that work?
I would say that it's too early, basically. I mean, it's hard to predict success or specialization at that age. I trained Gukesh, at the time he became the second youngest grandmaster.
Yes.
But a lot of people, try to ask me to recreate that, but of course it's not really a good goal even for the child.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and even when I became a grandmaster at 23, it was pretty late for that time, and you're supposed to do it a bit earlier. Yeah. But of course, becoming the youngest is always like a unhealthy pursuit. I think I even discouraged Gukesh from doing it.
Yeah.
And just mostly encouraged him to enjoy the game and told him it's a very long journey and so on. But yeah, you have to talk to the parents to kind of make them look at the long-term view. Yeah. So early specialization kind of looks attractive, but probably
is not the best.
Yeah. So there's another journey, right? So to live your life as a professional.
Yeah.
And you're not preparing yourself for that. You might get burnt out, or you might get a distaste for
the sport as such.
Definitely. When something is forced.
Yeah, absolutely. And I also think I would add to this again from what I've observed is that a lot of people miss out on their childhood just because they look at the the pursuit to glory. They miss out on their childhood, and then there's a lot of things that they need to catch up on later. It's not even about their education, it's also about their childhood. It's just about being themselves and then the milestones.
Yeah, definitely. That's a huge crisis in general, because in chess you don't need as much physical capabilities as like other sports like tennis or badminton. You cannot fight with an adult anyway you want. But even at 10 or 11 you can fight with somebody much older than you.
Yes.
These children go through an unusual amount of pressure. So for a teenager or even 12, 13-year-old, they go through an unusual amount of pressure, and I'm sure they're not fully prepared to deal with it, except for a very few.
Exactly.
So there's a lot of things that have to be considered when you're pursuing something so seriously at such an age.
Absolutely. Speaking of physical capability, you said chess is not so physical in nature. I've often wondered, all these young children who actually play chess, who train for chess, they don't really go out there and physically work out. And especially after COVID, everything has changed online, right? Do you think that physical fitness is important when it comes to chess?
Definitely. I mean, that to me, there is no excuse to not be physically active, right? So I do not need the physical fitness of a tennis player or badminton player. But I need to be physically active every day. Right? So I think in all of the offline programs that I do, right? So that's a big part of it. It's a mandatory part, and I feel that allows you to wash away the tension of the day, wash away pressure of the day, and going forward, I think as chess, 10 years ago chess was different. Now it is different, and 10 years later again, people are going to be better and better performance. And if you don't add something as simple as this to your arsenal, you will be left behind, I think.
Absolutely.
So I think it's a huge part, and also it kind of helps with recovery. It kind of helps with fatigue and dealing with stress, a bunch of things. So
absolutely.
I mean, not everybody takes my advice, but I kind of insist on doing something physically active.
Absolutely. Yeah, I mean, I've also noticed that during your offline sessions, I've been part of a few, and I noticed that they have some breaks in between, that they're not always glued to, of course, there's no laptop there as such. Again, if you look at a lot of chess players, they're just glued to solving puzzles on their iPads and their laptops. So I've never seen that with your academy as well. I actually want to move to the next part which is very, very connected. And initially, again, I spoke about COVID, and right after COVID, everyone took up to online chess. And they're so good at online chess. And of course, there are a lot of things that's missing when they have to come and play offline, right? I'm sure it has its own advantages and disadvantages. I wanted to check, have you noticed any advantages or disadvantages of playing online chess all the time?
No, the biggest advantage is accessibility, right? So let's say you're in a remote place, right? So a kid in Chennai or some other remote town, they have the access to, both have access to strong players now.
Yeah.
They both have access to particularly decent coaching, decent training.
Yeah.
And they can learn the same things basically, because chess is like very focused on certain parts of India and Chennai, in Tamil Nadu.
Yeah.
Overall India, probably 60% of chess players are from Tamil Nadu.
Yeah.
50 to 60%, and Chennai is like the chess capital. But if you're from somewhere else, the number one problem that online solves is accessibility.
Absolutely.
So that is the biggest advantage of that.
Yeah.
But the disadvantage is that you cannot do it for a very long time. I mean, offline camps often go to 6 to 8 hours.
Yeah.
And it's hard to stare at a computer for so long.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, so
absolutely.
Especially in early stage, I would say that online has brought in more people.
Right.
So online has brought in more people and online has made things more accessible, but it has to be, of course, managed properly. And as you become stronger and more professional, you search for other things. Yes.
Right. I really love how you spoke about the advantage over there, where accessibility is one of the major advantages. What about the cognitive functionings? I think one of the parents came and told me that the players so used to playing online, they don't see another player, they're not able to gauge the other players, all of that, and then they don't have to technically in online, but then when they come and play offline, you have the opponent, and the player there, because he's so used to online, is not able to gauge the opponent and predict the moves, right? So what do you think about that?
Definitely, it just requires more experience. There is no competitive things there are no competitive events as active as offline, right? So offline has its chess federation, chess association that gives you a career out of it. Right now there's nothing to create a career out of online play.
Absolutely.
So I would say that you would, even though you can learn a lot and train a lot and practice a lot, you will have to come outside at least now.
At some point.
And compete in events mainly outside, I think. So competition right now, there are a few gaps in the online space, and chess is being tried to be promoted as a e-sports also, right?
Absolutely.
So I don't know where it will go. Maybe that will also pick up, but where you don't have to see the opponent.
Suddenly everything is trending now.
Yeah, you don't have to see the opponent, but definitely you have to go outside and find events to compete. Right. So I think definitely a balance of both, especially to compete, coming outside is very, very important, right? So coming into the offline world and
just
finding
competing.
Finding people to play with is very, very important.
Absolutely.
There is a lot of question about like whether staring at the computer for so long is kind of reducing your overall cognitive speed and stuff like that. Definitely, maybe the difference would be as you go higher and higher. But early stages, I would say that the best thing would be to go outside and compete more often. And maybe the gap will be filled with that.
Absolutely. Great point. Speaking of, again, going offline and gauging opponents and all of that, I know chess is a very lonely field, right? And it's very isolating as well. It could be very isolating as well, just long hours of silence, sitting in one place. How important do you think a support or a social network is at that point? Do you think it's really relevant and important?
Yeah, that is also something that has not been addressed well in the past, I think. So one of the things that is about chess is that you travel a lot. And you are with your friends, but they're also your competitors.
Absolutely.
So you're not completely vulnerable or open with them. And so at the early stage, definitely the parent has to play the role of the parent and support rather than the coach or a psychologist. You just have to. That's where the parent plays a huge role in allowing the child to open up. And even otherwise, you should develop circles outside of chess. Because you're not going to fully open up to somebody who's your competitor.
Absolutely.
So that is definitely there. I mean, it feels like um, your friends, but also you cannot be completely honest because of the coming
Can't be
challenge.
vulnerable at
Yeah,
all. Yeah,
yeah,
definitely.
yeah.
Definitely.
So social circles help you keep a better mental state
Yeah.
overall. So which is also very important to even perform consistently.
Yeah. Yeah.
So to have something outside of
Yeah.
work, yeah, I think it's
Definitely.
important. I think once you become stronger, you're able to develop a team.
Yes.
But early stages, you rely on your parent or some friends outside of chess as well, or
Yeah.
find someone to really be open with.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I think these friendships are more easily accessible in school or regular settings, right? But
Yeah.
in sport, you're so competitive.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. And there's always a fear factor,
Yeah.
with regard to sport and finding friends there. But speaking of schools, I've also noticed that a lot of children don't go to school, especially when they compete, even at a district level. And that is where I keep telling them it's not about the academics, but of course they study in NIOS and everything, but it's not really about the academics, but it's also about the social support, the skills that they can develop, because again, with chess you can't really talk to people, so you don't really develop the talking skills, you don't develop other skills which are required for a
Yeah.
person to develop rather. So have you also noticed a lot of people quit school just because they have to pursue chess?
Yeah, they do. It's been there for a while now, actually,
Yeah.
like for almost more than a decade.
Yeah.
So the program I do at Hudson is trying to fill that gap, actually, especially if you want to.
Get the best of both worlds.
Yeah, if you want to like drop school, we are not going to allow you to.
Yeah.
We're going to force you to socialize. We're going to be force you to be physically active.
Yeah.
We are going to force you to kind of do things outside of chess and learn things outside of chess.
Yes.
So, but it's been there for a while. And what I've noticed is that, even winning, only when you go to the national level, it becomes very hard to compete.
Yeah.
When you're doing school regularly.
Yeah.
But if you can, you can. But
Yeah. Yeah.
I've seen that at early stage, there's no real necessity to give up school.
Absolutely.
Like you said, even at state level, I don't really see, if you use your time before and after school well, then
Yeah, it's all about the time management.
yeah.
Right? Yeah. I think that's a skill that we need to really teach young athletes these days, because I feel like there's a lot of pressure from some coaches, some parents, where I think they kind of want to pursue, just getting a medal very early in life, or a podium rather.
Yeah.
And two, I've seen a lot of parents say, you can give up on studies, or drop out of school, or too much pressure on studies. There's no in between there. So that's where I guess the problem lies, and I think very rarely do we focus on this life skills of just time management, energy management, and all of that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's a lot of uncertainty in sport. I mean, no matter if you give up studies or there is no guarantee
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
you will do something. I mean,
Yeah.
so always there's uncertainty.
Yes.
And sometimes it's not like school where you study a lot or
Yeah, and you get direct results.
yeah.
Yeah.
Sport does not work like that. So anyway, it's a little bit of risk. And if you're encouraging your child to give up chess, you have to give up school.
Yeah.
You kind of have to embrace that uncertainty also. You have to give them that
Yeah,
space
yeah.
to
Figure it out.
yeah, things may not work out and you might have to come back
Yeah.
and so on.
Absolutely, definitely, 100%. I'm just going to, kind of take a turn from the psychological side to a more nutritional approach right now, like in terms of nutrition, hydration. Do you think, especially chess being chess, a lot of people don't give importance to the other aspects of the person's development? Say, for example, we had spoken about physical fitness some time back, spoke about mental skills, we spoke about social networks as well. I think to a certain extent, mental skills has been given importance, but we don't speak enough about the need of hydration, the need for, nutrition. Do you think it actually plays a role while they compete? Because it's going to be long hours of just focused work.
Yeah.
Yeah.
See, I would say these are habits that you have to, if you're in a sport, you have to pick up these habits so that they serve you in life as well.
Yeah.
So that is the main objective of sport, that you pick up qualities that serve you well in life, even if you don't become a professional.
Yeah.
So being nutrition and hydration do affect performance. When you're very young, you might not be able to notice those subtle changes in performance, but they are there definitely. So a lot of top athletes do take it seriously.
Absolutely.
They have regimen and they are trying to figure out what is working for them. What drink can I specifically drink during a chess game that is going to last for like 6 hours. And so is it coconut water or orange juice, whatever it is. That is going to keep me at my best shape, right? So very specific. They are finding out what is very specifically working for them.
Absolutely.
So anybody who's an athlete or chess player, or they have to, at least at the early stage, if you cannot be so specific with testing and all, you have to adopt some general quality. Generally, habits. You have to go in the general direction of good nutrition.
Absolutely.
I think sport is becoming so competitive and serious that these are
basic things.
These will become basic things. Like they were not 10 years ago, but now everybody is so serious. They are looking for that small edge.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, even at a very early stage, and they are ready to do things to get that small edge.
Absolutely. Earlier, even in cricket, there was no basic necessity for fitness or anything, but now everyone's just very extremely fit. That's the base, right? I'm sure that's how it is going to be in chess as well. Coming back to, again, chess as such, and how important do you think mindfulness and breath work is? Does that make a difference, especially when it comes to crucial points? Like, there's a lot of time pressure when it comes to chess. So during those times, you think it actually matters?
Definitely. These are so what I have noticed is that these are like practices that you do for a long time, and then you suddenly see a huge impact.
Absolutely.
So whether it is meditation or breathfulness, or mindfulness or breath work, these are all small practices that you do every day, and then like 6 months later, 1 year later, you see that
massive change.
You were able to do a lot of things which you could not do in the past. Right? So I've discussed this with my students also. This is something that you can develop, that your opponent cannot catch up within a day or a week or a month also. Right? So this is like a thing which you're going to be way ahead of your competition.
Absolutely.
If you do this consistently for a long period of time. And for them to catch up on this will be a huge challenge. I think they are at the crisis moments, you're not really conscious. So these kinds of things kind of help you
become aware.
Become really aware actually. So I have used this in a lot of my students, and it's a big part of
training.
Training itself. Because what I've noticed is that just by making these slight modifications, you can show a lot of performance rather than overtraining in chess.
Absolutely.
Right. So instead of doing keep overtraining in chess, you just add this small component to your training. And then you see that your performance grows.
Absolutely. I think that's a very good point, and I hope a lot of people kind of use this as well. So before we wrap up, you have competed at highest level, and you've also trained chess players at the highest level, right? What is that one thing that you would tell people, maybe a chess player for that matter, in terms of just excellence? What is that one thing that you would say?
Perseverance is a main quality, I would say. Perseverance and patience. And your ability to take hits, right? So you're going to lose more than you win. And
Yes.
how you react to that. Do you come back the next day and train the same way,
Yeah.
same intensity? And that is what will probably define how far you'll go in your career, basically. That's what I would say for a professional, because
Yeah.
things, what I've observed is things mostly don't go as well as you expect it to be.
Absolutely.
And then how you react
Yeah.
definitely creates a long career.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
so maybe that is what I would say, in order to pursue any sport probably professionally,
Yeah.
the odds are kind of on the other side.
Other side.
Yeah.
Yes. Yes. Absolutely.
And you just kind of have to learn to deal with the bad days.
Yeah. I guess this is what sets apart a champion and a
Yes.
person.
Yeah, I mean, to have a good long career, this is kind of essential.
Yeah. Absolutely. Absolutely. Yes, I think with this we wrap up. We've spoken about multiple dimensions of chess and a beautiful journey from being a player to a coach as well. Thank you so much for being part of the podcast. I mean it very, very impactful, and I hope it influences people the right way as well. Thanks a lot.
Thank you for again having me here, and it was a pleasure to be here.
Thank you.
Thank you.